Did Hybe just turn Jungkook into a sales weapon? Why BTS's old light sticks are suddenly dead? And why fans say this is no coincidence? Is it really just a technical upgrade? Or is something far bigger happening behind the scenes? When Hybe announced that older BTS light sticks would gradually lose full compatibility during the upcoming Arirang World Tour, many fans felt an unexpected chill run through the excitement. The timing felt too perfect, too sharp, too strategic, and at the center of the storm stands one name that refuses to be ignored: Jungkook. Why, fans ask? Does the death of old light sticks arrive exactly when Jungkook is predicted to dominate the post-military era of BTS? Why does version 4 appear not merely as a product, but as a requirement, almost a ticket to fully experience the moment everyone has been waiting for? And most importantly, is Hybe simply innovating, or is it quietly leveraging Jungkook's unmatched popularity to push millions of ARMYs into impulsive purchases fueled by emotion, nostalgia, and fear of missing out? From Jakarta to Los Angeles, from Weverse to Reddit, the debate has exploded. This is no longer just about plastic, LEDs, or Bluetooth pairing. This is about trust, power, and the fragile emotional contract between BTS, Hybe, and ARMY. The announcement itself arrived dressed in celebration. On 5 February 2026, Hybe officially revealed the BTS official Lightstick version 4 ahead of the highly anticipated Arirang World Tour. The visuals were sleek, modern, futuristic. A black, refined body. A transparent globe with the BTS logo glowing at its heart. Accessories that could be swapped. A cradle that turned the light stick into a decorative ambient lamp at home. The teaser video, released across platforms including YouTube and Facebook, bathed the product in cinematic lighting and dramatic music, framing it not as merchandise, but as a symbol of a new era. On paper, version 4 is undeniably advanced. Hybe highlighted a significantly upgraded wireless control system capable of producing smoother gradients, a broader color range, and far more intricate lighting effects synchronized with stage production. Fans could now check connectivity before concerts, access venue maps, find pairing booths, review concert history, and even enjoy automatic partial effects if pairing failed. A new color shaking feature promised playful spontaneity, while Self Mode allowed fans to control colors even without the app. Everything about version 4 screamed immersion, precision, and spectacle. And yet, buried beneath the excitement was a detail that changed everything. Hybe confirmed that while older versions, version 3 and the Map of the Soul Special Edition would remain compatible through the Las Vegas concert on 28 May 2026, that support would end, starting with the Busan concert on 12 June 2026. From that point forward, only version 4 would fully sync with concert lighting systems. In one sentence, years of loyalty, memories, and emotional attachment were rendered technologically obsolete. For many ARMYs, especially those who bought the Map of the Soul SE nearly 6 years ago and barely had the chance to use it due to the pandemic, the news felt less like progress and more like erasure. Social media reactions were swift and raw. On X, fans questioned why a product still perfectly functional would be sidelined so abruptly. On Reddit, threads accused Hybe of greed, calling the move calculated and exploitative. On Weverse, disappointment mixed with resignation, as some fans admitted they would still buy version 4 not because they wanted to, but because they felt they had no choice. And then came the question that refused to disappear: why now? The answer many fans arrived at pointed directly to Jungkook. Jungkook's return from military service has been framed, both by fans and by industry watchers, as a seismic moment. Often called the Golden Matinee, Jungkook is widely expected to become the primary magnet of the Arirang Tour, drawing casual listeners, global media attention, and unprecedented demand. His solo success, his global recognition, and his ability to dominate charts and headlines have positioned him as a once-in-a-generation commercial force. Fans are not blind to this. They see the lines forming already. They see the predictions of sold-out stadiums, the viral fan cams waiting to happen, the global press ready to crown him as the face of BTS's post-military era. And they see a company that knows exactly how powerful that moment will be. This is where suspicion turns into accusation. Many ARMYs argue that by ending compatibility with older light sticks, just as Jungkook becomes the emotional and visual center of the tour, Hybe is effectively forcing fans into a choice: either buy version 4 or risk feeling disconnected during what may be Jungkook's most iconic performances yet. In fan discussions, a phrase keeps reappearing: synchronizing with Jungkook. To be in sync with Jungkook on stage. To see your light stick glow in perfect harmony when he sings. To be part of the ocean of coordinated light that defines a BTS concert. For many fans, that synchronization is not a luxury, it is the experience itself. And HYBE knows it. Critics argue that this turns Jungkook into a commercial lever. Not openly, not explicitly, but subtly. The message is never stated outright, yet it is deeply felt. If you want the full Jungkook moment, you need version 4. If you want to belong, you need to upgrade. This emotional pressure is what fans find hardest to forgive. The cost is not small. Concert tickets are already expensive. Travel, accommodation, and time off work add to the burden. For international fans, attending a BTS concert is often a once-in-a-lifetime event. To then be told that their existing light stick, a symbol they may have cherished for years, is no longer enough feels, to some, like a betrayal of the Army-first philosophy that BTS has always preached. HYBE, for its part, has not framed the decision as malicious. Official statements emphasize technological necessity, improved performance, and the desire to deliver a more immersive concert experience. From a production standpoint, managing multiple generations of hardware is complex. Limiting compatibility simplifies logistics, reduces error, and allows designers to push creative boundaries without compromise. But fans counter with a simple question: if this is purely about technology, why draw the line so soon? Why not allow older versions to remain compatible throughout the entire tour? Why introduce a deadline that splits the tour in two and conveniently aligns with the most anticipated shows? The optics matter. And right now, the optics are uncomfortable. What makes the situation even more emotionally charged is BTS's unique relationship with their fans. BTS did not rise through traditional industry privilege. Their success was built on intimacy, trust, and a sense of shared journey. ARMYs were not just consumers, they were participants, supporters, defenders. Merchandise was never just merchandise, it was a badge of belonging. That is why the phrase "greedy" appears so often in fan reactions. Not because fans deny HYBE's right to sell products, but because they fear a shift in values, a shift from mutual respect to corporate extraction, from shared celebration to strategic monetization. Still, the story is not one-dimensional. There are fans who are genuinely excited about version 4, who see it as a beautiful evolution of the BTS concert experience. They praise the design, the features, the ambition. They argue that innovation requires change and that no product can last forever. Some even defend HYBE, noting that many tech ecosystems operate the same way. Yet, even among supporters, there is unease. A quiet acknowledgement that something about this moment feels different. Perhaps it is because Jungkook's presence amplifies everything. His popularity magnifies both joy and suspicion. When Jungkook shines, the spotlight grows hotter not just on him, but on every decision made around him. And so, the controversy continues to grow, fueled by speculation, emotion, and unanswered questions. Is HYBE underestimating the emotional intelligence of ARMY, or does it believe that love for BTS, and for Jungkook in particular, will always outweigh frustration? Will fans ultimately accept version 4 as the price of progress, or will this moment leave a lasting crack in the relationship? As sales for the BTS official Lightstick version 4 open on Weverse Shop on 6 February 2026, the numbers will tell one story, but the emotions tell another. Behind every purchase may be excitement, resentment, or reluctant surrender. Behind every glowing light may be a question that refuses to fade. When the lights go up at Arirang and Jungkook steps onto the stage, will ARMY feel united or divided between those who could afford to stay in sync and those left in the shadows? And when history looks back at this era, will version 4 be remembered as a symbol of innovation, or as the moment fans realized just how powerful and how profitable Jungkook's light truly is? The deeper this controversy runs, the more it exposes a tension that has been quietly building for years beneath the surface of global fandom culture. BTS is no longer just a group. HYBE is no longer just an entertainment company. And Jungkook is no longer just an idol returning from military service. They are all part of an ecosystem where emotion, loyalty, technology, and profit collide in ways that are increasingly impossible to separate. What makes the lightstick debate so explosive is not the object itself, but what it represents at this precise moment in BTS history. The Arirang World Tour is not being framed as just another tour. It is being framed as a rebirth, a return, a symbolic reopening of a chapter that was paused by enlistment, uncertainty, and global distance. Fans are not preparing for a concert, they are preparing for closure, celebration, and reconnection. And within that emotional atmosphere, Jungkook stands as a focal point of expectation. Industry analysts have repeatedly suggested that Jungkook's post-military return could rival or even surpass the impact of his pre-enlistment peak. His global solo fanbase has expanded, his name recognition extends far beyond K-pop circles, and Western media interest has intensified. Every movement he makes is predicted to trend. Every performance is expected to go viral. Every close-up is anticipated to become a cultural moment. This is why fans interpret the lightstick policy not as neutral timing, but as strategic alignment. On social platforms, one recurring sentiment keeps surfacing: HYBE knows Jungkook sells moments. Fans argue that the company understands how deeply ARMY associates visual synchronization with emotional memory, the sea of coordinated lights during a Jungkook bridge. The color shifts matching his vocal climax, the collective gasp when the stadium responds as one. These are not optional extras, they are core to the BTS concert mythology. To disrupt that experience by making older lightsticks partially or fully incompatible feels, to some fans, like placing a paywall in front of emotion. The language used by fans reveals how personal this feels. They do not say they are being upsold. They say they are being pushed, cornered, or emotionally pressured. Many describe the purchase of Ver.4 not as excitement, but as resignation. "I don't want to miss Jungkook's moment," one fan wrote. "So I'll buy it, but I won't pretend it feels good." This is where the debate moves beyond fandom and into ethics. Is it fair for a company to capitalize on peak emotional moments to drive sales? In traditional marketing, the answer is often yes. But BTS has never operated within traditional marketing rules. Their brand has been built on sincerity, vulnerability, and the promise that fans are partners, not targets. That promise is now being questioned. Some fans draw comparisons to past HYBE decisions, noting a pattern of increasingly aggressive monetization tied to major emotional milestones. Album versions multiplied, exclusive content locked behind paywalls, merchandise drops aligned with viral moments. The lightstick controversy, in this reading, is not an isolated incident but a culmination. Yet there is another layer that complicates the narrative even further: BTS themselves. Notably absent from the discussion is any direct comment from the members. Jungkook has not addressed the issue, neither have the others. For some fans, this silence is understandable. Product decisions are not made by idols. For others, the silence is painful. BTS has long been known for acknowledging fan concerns, even when they cannot change outcomes. The lack of reassurance feeds anxiety. Fans ask quietly, almost fearfully, do they know how this feels? The fear is not that BTS would endorse greed, but that they might be powerless to stop it. That HYBE, now a global corporation with shareholders and expansion goals, operates on a scale where emotional nuance becomes secondary to efficiency and revenue. This fear intensifies when fans consider the global nature of the Arirang tour. For fans in regions with lower purchasing power, the requirement to buy a new lightstick is not a minor inconvenience. It is a genuine financial barrier. The idea that emotional participation might become stratified by income runs directly against the inclusive image BTS has cultivated. And yet, even amid frustration, the love remains undeniable. Fans who criticize HYBE often clarify that their anger is not directed at Jungkook. In fact, many say that his presence is exactly why the situation hurts so much. Jungkook represents comfort, growth, and shared history. To feel that his return is being used as leverage rather than celebrated freely creates emotional dissonance. This paradox defines the current moment. The brighter Jungkook shines, the harsher the shadows appear. As the countdown to ticket sales and merchandise drops continues, the fandom finds itself split not by loyalty to BTS, but by interpretation of intent. Is this simply the cost of scaling a global phenomenon? Or is it the moment when corporate logic finally overpowers emotional connection? HYBE's hope undoubtedly is that once the tour begins, once the lights ignite and the music starts, these concerns will fade into the background. that the spectacle will be so overwhelming, so beautiful, that resentment dissolves into awe. That version 4 will become normalized, accepted, even cherished. But fans are not forgetting so easily. Screenshots of complaints are being archived, threads are being translated across languages. The conversation is becoming global, not local. And in the age of digital memory, nothing truly disappears. When Jungkook steps onto the stage for the first time on this tour, the roar will be deafening. The lights will blaze. Version 4 will glow in perfect synchronization. But somewhere in that ocean of light, there will be fans holding older sticks at home, watching live streams, or attending concerts, knowing their glow no longer